On this Rapid Learn video, you'll find out how to select cells or multiple cells, selecting columns and rows, how to cut, copy and paste, and also undo. When you want to select anything in Excel, there's several ways of achieving this, using both your mouse and keyboard. If you need to select a particular column, you can click on the letters above each column. If I click on letter C, it will select the entire column C. If I click on B or D, you'll see the same occurs. If I want to select a row, then I would click on the numbers down the side. Row 2. You'll notice it selects my data, but also to infinity. Make sure this is what you want when selecting. If you know you only want to select the cells that have data typed in, then make sure you click and drag your mouse. For example, I want to select the beds and the 3 numbers. I would click my left mouse button and hold it down while over A3 and move my mouse to the right to highlight. Now you'll notice that the first cell will always remain white. That indicates where you started. If you don't want the selection, you deselect it by clicking anywhere. If I wanted to select all of the figures for April, I would move onto B1, hold down my left mouse button and drag it down. So this is a typical click and drag movement, and it's quite common in all computer programs. Again, if I want to deselect, I click away from the selection. When you click and drag, always make sure you know where you're going to. For example, someone might say to me, I want to select everything from B1 to D4. That means I'm starting in B1 and I want to head towards D4. So I click and drag there. That means they wanted me to select this area. Click away. If ever you make a mistake when you select, for example, if I click and drag and my finger slips off the button at this point and I need to grab the figures for sofas as well, you can't grab the edge and stretch the selection. You need to deselect and do it again. Selecting information in here is quite important because it's how you apply formatting or tell the program where you want to work. So for example, we've decided to apply some formatting to make our sheet look cosmetically better and more pleasing to the eye. I've typed in some numbers. I've also typed in some titles for the months and the products we sell. I want the months at the top here to look better. Now, first thing, I need to select these by dragging my mouse over the 3 items I want to format. Most of my formatting is done from the home ribbon, so I'll click on the home ribbon, and from here I can then have access to any formatting to apply to my fonts in this section, or the alignment. The alignment is what's typed in there, whereabouts do you want it inside those cells. For example, if I look on here, there's a button that's got the letter B on. It's called bold. If I click on that, you'll notice that it makes my 3 months in bold. If I decide to maybe change the color of the text, I can move across to this button and click on the font color button. Now it's showing me the color red. That's because these buttons remember the last color chosen. Now if I don't want the colour red, I could choose the little drop down arrow beside it, click on that, and it pops down a palette, and I can then choose any colour from here. You will notice that as I hover my mouse over these little coloured squares, I can get a preview of what the text will look like. So I can choose a particular colour. One thing you'll notice is that the colour is remembered by the button for next time. Finally, I would like the position of the text in each cell to be changed. You'll notice that the text is what we call left aligned. It all butts up against the left hand side of each cell. But I can change the position horizontally of that, and I can do that via these three buttons up here called left, centre and right align. These three buttons here, they're in the alignment section of the home ribbon. If I click on centre, you'll notice that each of the months in the cell are centred. If I click right align, they then move to the right hand side, or I could go back to the left. So you can quite easily choose how you want it to be. Now in our case we may choose it to be centred. Once I've finished with that, I then want to apply a similar formatting to these here. So I click and drag to highlight. I can then apply the bold. I then want to change the colour to match the titles across the top. So I can quite easily click directly on the button because it's remembered the blue that I chose before, and that applies the blue. I can then move to the alignment buttons and ask it to align these to the right. Now that's my personal preference to what it looks like. You may prefer to have them centered or leave them left aligned. And there we've applied some cosmetic changes to the titles. At this point I want to add a little bit more to my spreadsheet. I want to put the word total in cell E1. So I click on that cell and I just type the word total. Now when I press the enter key, you'll notice that Excel has very cleverly formatted this to match the other titles. I want to also put the word total down here in A5. When I type and press enter, it takes on the appearance of the titles above it. If you decide that you don't want the total word down here, for example, to be in that blue, right aligned and bold, in other words, I want to take off all of that formatting, then we can do that very quickly by moving to a button in the editing section of the home ribbon. That's right over here at the right. Now don't worry if your buttons on your screen are a different size. Depending on the size of your monitor and the screen resolution, the buttons in all Microsoft Office products will be different in size. You will have the same buttons, but they may be larger or they may be smaller. Now here you'll see I've got a button called clear, and if I click on the drop down button, you'll notice a menu pops and it gives me choices. Do you want to clear all? Do you want to clear just the formats? Do you want to clear the contents? Now because I want to get rid of just the formats, I will choose clear formats. If I choose clear all, it will then remove not only the word total, but it'll also remove the formatting at the same time. If I choose clear contents, then it will just get rid of the word total but leave it in blue and right aligned. So I'm going to choose clear formats. When I click on there, you'll notice it's removed the looks of that. Now if I change my mind again and think actually I do want this to be looking the same as these, if I want to undo what I've just done, I can move to our quick access toolbar at the top here, and there's a little arrow pointing to the left which is called undo. If I click on that, it will undo what I've just done, and there you can see it's put the formatting back on. If I keep clicking on this undo button, it will eventually get rid of the word total